Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nick Tiffany's Movie Reviews, coming at you online and in print format at nicktiffany.com, an audio format wherever you get your podcasts, and even in video on YouTube and all those great social media networks. Today we're pivoting. This is not going to be a Nick Tiffany movie review. For the first time ever, this is going to be a Nick Tiffany TV review. You know, I've been dabbling a little bit lately. There's been a lot of good television coming out in the last couple of years, and I am definitely more someone who watches movies. You know, watching as many movies as I do a year. My TV output is not nearly as great. I'm a little slow to catch up sometimes on what people are watching, but I feel like I'll usually get there eventually. I'm doing this today because this is a TV show I've been looking forward to, had a ton of reservations about, and was just so genuinely curious how it would be executed. And after watching 3 episodes, I felt like, okay, I gotta put something out there by the way of letting the people know the Fallout television series on Amazon Prime is fucking awesome. Pardon my French, but as a fan and an avid player of the Fallout video games for well over a decade, I could not be happier with the product that we got. And I'm just going to preface that with, I should have had faith. It's Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, the team behind Westworld. Jonathan Nolan, brother of Christopher Nolan, writer of many of the scripts for the films that he did with his brother, leaving Westworld and HBO, signing, I forget how big the deal was over at Amazon to make Fallout. That was something that at first I was like, okay, cool. Love the showrunners. Really trust them because I really dug what they were doing with Westworld, at least the first couple seasons there. When they decided to release the series all at once, all 10 episodes, 8 episodes, I'm not sure actually how many episodes it is yet because I've been trying to be good. I've been giving myself a little space. I watched the first 3 because it was so hard to just not watch again and again and again. I remember the Rings of Power coming out, doing the weekly release, and obviously HBO doing The Last of Us, you got the weekly release. So dropping that weekly model and doing the, hey, we're just going to drop them all at once, I felt a little nervous at first. I didn't know if that was like, we don't think we can make it week by week just because we think we'll lose interest, or we don't know if people are going to dig it or what. Trying to bury the lead, whatever it is, so we'll just drop it all at once. The retaliation thought that I had to that was, I remember when they were talking about the Rings of Power metrics, so many people started that show that just did not finish it. And part of that, I think, was due to the weekly model release. It was a little slower to get going, too, given the world building and character building they were doing. But, my wife even made a comment. She's like, well, that's probably why I didn't finish it. She's like, it was the week by week. If it was the binge, I would have just watched it. And I do understand that. It was something that I definitely was looking forward to more. So maybe I didn't mind watching the week by week. Definitely gave me something to look forward to. But I won't lie. Watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon, I blew through that show. So glad all the episodes are available because I was like, I can't stop watching this. So cut to this week. The Fallout television series has premiered. The Vault Dwellers have been shown to the world, and I think the reception so far has been pretty good. From fans of the game and people who have never played the game, I'm seeing a lot of like for this show. I'm seeing a lot of love for this show, and I'm here to give love to this show. My first experience with Fallout came with Fallout 3 back on console. Played that, played New Vegas, played Fallout 4. I feel like I'm one of the staunch defenders of Fallout 76. I played the hell out of that game, and everybody crapped on it forever. But, I really enjoyed it. I love each piece of lore and each area you get to explore in this game, in this country that, was 200 some years outside of a nuclear, global attack. And so I just, the concept has always been intriguing to me, this idea of multiple factions trying to regain control, not only of the United States, but of certain territories. You've got towns and cities run by different local militia. You've got as many great people out there in the wilderness and the wasteland there are who want to help you, who want to cultivate crops and grow things and help contribute to society. You've got just as many people who look like they're out of Mad Max, who are here wearing skull helmets and tons of just spikes and chains, and they're here to kill you and take all your things. Everything creature-wise has become irradiated out in the wasteland, so you've got massive cockroaches and flies and horrible mutated bears and things. It is such, the detail in those games was something that I thought would be pretty hard to capture if you're going to do a television show. But my God, have they done a sensational job, not only from the construction of the vaults underground, this whole concept that, the elite and certain people were privileged enough to be able to be chosen to go down into these vaults. I'm sure if you spent some money as well. And then this whole background idea of like, yeah, you may have survived in the vaults, but the vaults were also a whole system of controls, scientists running experiments underground. And yes, we're trying to preserve American values. And, you look at the lifestyle people are living down there. And then imagine taking one of those vault dwellers and sending them out into the wasteland, a place they have no knowledge of, no concept of. Everything out there probably wants to kill you. And so much like in the third Fallout game, the TV series kind of follows this idea of this woman, Lucy, who's going to go out and essentially find her father. Her father, in this case, has been kidnapped, dragged out to the wasteland by some evil people. And so she's got to go track him down. And so Lucy's played by Ella Purnell. She's awesome. She totally fits that vibe of the Vault Dweller. She's hokey-dory. She's just, aw shucks, I'm happy to help. Where, a Vault Dweller's job is to rebuild America. And, it doesn't sound as dorky when you're talking to other Vault Dwellers, but and this is just like the attention to detail. Once she gets out of the vault, once she meets people, and once people learn she's from a vault, the reaction is hilarious because it's just like it is in the game. People think she's fucking stupid. They're like, you've been living in the vault for your entire life. Number one, you don't know anything about the real world. Number two, they've been feeding you crap for about as long as you've been alive. You guys are essentially worthless. There's nothing that you can do to help save things out here. You'd be better off living in your hole, not being up here. But the dialogue trees that you can have in Fallout, the way that you can communicate with people just feels so well adapted here. The conversations you have, little asides, even silly little comments like, hey, thanks for not killing me. You're a real good person, because most people would have just shot me and taken my things. And it's funny because that's how it plays in the game too. But then there's also this there is this kind of sadness and kind of depressing feeling underneath a lot of this, because you see how much society has changed. You see the morals and the laws and how they've gone away. You're following, what's cool, I thought, was you're following multiple characters. You follow Lucy. You follow a ghoul, played by Walton Goggins. And a ghoul, essentially, is someone exposed to radiation. They didn't die, but it has changed them, and so they are able to live longer. But, they don't have a nose, really. Their skin's all pretty much gone. It's real tight and discolored. His character, you kind of get this great introduction before the bombs were dropped to who he is and how he ends up being alive 200 some years later, maybe as a ghoul. It's pretty freaking awesome. And then you've got Aaron Moten, who plays Maximus, who is a member of the Brotherhood of Steel, which is one such faction out in the wasteland. These people are scribes. They are, mathematics people. They are just different educators. There's almost this, they have this belief that, we are going to bring order back to the world. They've got military upbringings. They go through basic trainings. Not only are they physically going to be ready, but mentally they're going to be ready to provide the scholarly advice and things that this world needs. And so you're following Maximus, who is tasked to kind of help a Brotherhood Knight. These guys who get crazy metal power armor, which everybody loves in the video games. You know, everybody wanted power armor when you're playing the game. But spending time with them, learning some of their background, you spend some time, obviously, with the Vault Dwellers. You spend time in different cities learning about the Enclave, or learning about people who worship the bombs, or people who, are just trying to survive. And I was blown away by the first 3 episodes of this show. The way that it fits the humor of the games, the way that it fits some of the despair of the games, the bloodiness of the games as well. People's limbs just getting blown off, or it's like Django Unchained, Quentin Tarantino level of like absurd violence and blood sometimes. But that is exactly what the games are. And so translating that to the screen was amazing. I was astounded by how good everything looked and how shocked I was sometimes, but like, oh my God, they really did that. His limbs just been blown off. Like the whole V.A.T.S system, it is so cool everything they have incorporated into this TV series. The music, obviously, that's something I'll speak less to, only because if you were a fan of the Fallout games, Fallout Radio, those early 40s to 60s jazz hits, just incredible music that's blended so well with what's happening on screen. It feels like you're wandering the wasteland, tuning your Pip-Boy, coming across horrific creatures, funny people, and then really tense situations. So I won't talk too much more about it. If you were a fan of Fallout, you have to check this out. If you are a fan of post-apocalyptic stories, check this out. If you are a fan of good television, you got to watch this TV series. Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy are working at a level that is incomparable, I feel like, in terms of video game adaptations. Video game adaptations are so hard to do. And again, I have not finished this series yet, so take it with a grain of salt. I am loving this show. I'm loving everything that I'm seeing. I'm loving the world that we are opened up to, because it feels like the worlds that I have played in. It feels like the situations and the characters, the good and the bad, everything that you know from those games is present. And it's so cool looking at little Easter eggs, or listening for little like, oh, Operation Avalanche, or, just there's so many little tidbits that, like, if you are a fan of these games and you have played them, you're going to pick things up left and right. The sound design for some of the freaking guns and the weapons and power armor, like, as a fan, there's nothing better. I don't want to say than fan service, because empty fan service I don't think is good. But this attention to detail from the creators is so much more than I could have ever expected. And I am just having the best time with this TV series. You guys got to check it out. I am sure I will make more of these as I get through. Again, this is our first voyage into a Nick Tiffany's television review. But if you guys like, me talking about TV, or kind of, I don't totally know what the right format maybe is yet. I just needed to get this out there because I need to get people watching this show. So then maybe we'll do some spoiler talk in episodes if that's what people are into. If people want to discuss those things as well, I'm all for that. I'm getting better about my TV, and there's a lot of great stuff to talk about. So I appreciate y'all indulging me today in something a little bit different. Check out Fallout on Amazon Prime. Check out the video games too. You will not be disappointed. They are so layered. They are so rich. Incredible, incredible pieces of media. Thank you guys again for listening. You can find us at NT Movie Reviews on all social media networks, podcast platforms, even on YouTube and all those social media video platforms as well. Thanks again, you guys, and have a great rest of your afternoon.